Welcome to Pop Culture Roulette for all your pop culture needs. We're America's podcast.
Ho, ho, ho.
Oh,
Welcome. I am Nicholas. I'm joined by just had a heart attack, Justin.
yeah, it's stressful. A couple extra gray
And
hairs.
also just had a heart attack, Jeremy.
Woo. Still kicking though.
Let's thank you, John Harbaugh, for going for two in a situation that clearly shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can take your analytics and shove it.
All right. So I don't really have any pop culture news to talk about. I didn't really do any research because I knew we had a big topic today. But I did see Star Wars, Spider-Man No Way Home today.
Oh, you did?
Oh, this is the review that I'm going to give you because I'm not going to give anything away, so we can't really get into it. When we left the theater and we got in the car, the wife goes and looks at me and goes, "That might be my most favorite Marvel movie I've ever seen."
Oh, nice.
Wow. High praise.
So that's the review.
Okay. I'll take it.
I don't, because we cannot discuss this movie without me giving away some of the stuff you guys already know. You've either seen it in the previews or people can't keep their mouth shut. But it was good. It was really good. But I was looking at Rotten Tomatoes just out of curiosity. Morbid curiosity demands that I do this to myself. It's currently sitting at 94% critic and 99% audience. So I was like, what possible idiot went and saw this movie and went, well, that's terrible. So I clicked on the 17 Rotten reviews. I assume that most of these people are just being contrarian, just because they knew that everyone else was going to blow this movie up and like just love it. So they were like, "It sucks." But basically, if you're a movie reviewer and you watch this movie and you gave it a negative review, quit. Go find another job. You don't deserve to be a movie reviewer. I mean, you don't necessarily have to give it 5 out of 5 or 10 out of 10 or 2 thumbs up. But like, if you watch that movie and you didn't have fun, you didn't almost roll a tear, you didn't gasp a couple times audibly with some of the things that happened, never watch another movie and quit. Go just write about Wall Street or something else, because you don't deserve to be a movie reviewer.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I do have one question about it.
Okay.
At any point, did it ever seem too big?
Not really. I kept waiting for it to feel bloated or really just like, everybody kind of bumping into each other like, "Oh, look, I'm over here, I'm over here, I'm over here." And it never, they found, much like Avengers Endgame, well, Infinity War and Endgame, where like these screenwriters found a way to fit all of that in and all of those characters into the same space and not feel like, overdrawn or just, out of place. Sometimes when you watch a movie that's got like 800 famous people in it and it's just not good.
Yeah.
That's kind of what you expect. But I mean, Marvel screenwriters are just knocking it out of the park with stuff like that. The danger that I do see from it is it's hard to go back. Like, when you do the next Spider-Man movie, can you just do Spider-Man? Like,
Right.
Can you just tell another Spider-Man versus the Rhino, who's a character who's barely shown up in any of the movies, or when name a Spider-Man villain that they haven't used yet, and can you do now that you've gone here?
Mhm.
Like, how do you
Yeah.
scale it back in the future and
Yeah.
still have people go, okay, you know,
Yeah, that's a good question. But
They'll all go in now being like, who else is in this?
right, Oh, I did rent Carnage this week.
Kevin?
Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Have either one of you seen this movie yet?
mm-mm.
Not yet, but we'll have to check it out.
It is every bit as bad as the first one. It's just not.
That's
It's not.
kind of disappointing to hear.
It's. I mean, I want to say. Part of me wants to say it's better, but it's kind of like the Tomb Raider situation. The second Tomb Raider is marginally better than the first Tomb Raider,
Mhm.
but when you've laid the bar on the floor,
Yeah, then you're really not saying much.
right,
Yeah.
it's not hard to step over it.
Yeah. Hmm, that's too
But
bad.
okay, so we are less than a week away
That's
from
insane.
from
Yeah.
Christmas.
I ain't done nothing.
I had yesterday off. I didn't have to work on a Saturday, so I went and I purchased all of my Christmas gifts. So at some point in the next couple of nights, I just have to wrap them, and I'm good. I'm done.
Deliver them to me and Jeremy.
Yeah, about that.
Wow.
Yeah, we
Wow.
were on that list, weren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, I dropped those in the mail.
They've lost plenty of gifts. I've mailed people too.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, no, that's yeah, definitely in the mail, definitely.
Isn't wrapping the worst though? I fucking hate wrapping.
I do. I love the gift bag so much.
Yeah.
Where you put it in the bag and then you throw some tissue paper on top of it, but I don't think I have any gift bags, so I think I'm gonna have to wrap everything.
Yeah. I think that's kind of the boat I'm in this year too.
I don't mind wrapping too much as long as I get left alone. If people are trying to help or there's animals around, then it gets frustrating.
Yeah, I can see that.
But it's just me. I feel the same way with like laundry and stuff. Like I don't mind folding it as long as I'm left alone. I got something on in the background or a podcast playing.
Yeah.
Well, since I know she doesn't listen to this podcast, I have to figure out how to wrap a lamp.
That's a good one. That's interesting.
So any of you people who are listening to this, you keep your mouth shut until after Saturday.
Is there do you need me to get you a box to put it in?
Well, I can get a box at work. That would probably be the best idea.
Yeah, I'd put it in a box.
It's good thinking. It's good. See, this is why I came to you. Brain
Ah.
trust. You're my brain trust. By the way, I've been watching a lot of Scrubs again recently, so
Perfect.
all right. So top three. Okay, our topic for today, since we are so close to Christmas, let's talk about the big man himself, Santa Claus.
Nicholas's favorite Halloween costume.
It was my favorite Halloween costume, but yeah, okay. But that's not why we're talking about it. It's just this year for our Christmas themed episode. Well, I guess we did the movies last week, and then this week we're gonna talk about Santa.
Oh.
So let's top three favorite pop culture Santas. Who wants to start?
Justin.
All right, Justin, we'll start. Let me get my list here. Get the cat away. All right, I didn't put these in any order because I never put things in order.
Okay.
Can't keep my life in order. Can't keep a list in order. Number one, I put Robot Santa Claus from Futurama.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
He cracks the list.
Rosie was just talking about that today.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I put Tim Allen from the Santa Claus.
All right.
Even though I may not have moved the movie on in the bracket, I put him on the list.
That's a classic.
And then I put Chris Farley from the SNL skit he did where he was the motivational Santa.
Oh,
Oh, that's very, very interesting one.
And then I do have a couple honorable mentions I can get to after the fact,
Okay.
unless you guys wanted them now.
Well,
Let's just wait in case they're on any of your lists.
that's a
Okay.
good idea.
all right. Well, Jeremy, how about your list? What do
Okay.
you?
Let me pull my notes up real quick here. All right. So first I put The Big Show from Jingle All the Way.
Okay.
From when they go into that warehouse to get
Nice.
the fake toy. Yeah. Then I put Santa from the classic M&M's commercial where
He
they
does exist.
yeah, that one. They do exist. Because it's
no,
like
I've never met the guy.
it's such a like comforting commercial at this point. Like it's a part of like it's got that childhood nostalgia attached to it.
You almost need to see it once a year, just like you need to see A Christmas Story.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah.
You don't need to see that once a
Justin.
year.
Well, and then the third one I put was Jack Skellington as Santa at the end of Nightmare Before Christmas
Nice.
All right.
in his tiny little suit and all giving the gifts that people clearly don't want because they're all like monstrous things.
Okay. Well, my top three. Share some very similar notes with Justin. I put number one. I put Tim Allen or Scott Calvin. And number three, I also put Robot Santa.
Nice.
Nice choices.
Number two, I went with Nick Frost, who played Santa in an episode of Doctor Who.
Really?
Yes. Every year they tend to do a like a Christmas episode. Like they have their regular season and then they do like one special episode and it's a Christmas. Tends to be somewhat Christmas themed. And so that year it was season 12 under the Doctor Number 12. No, season 9 under Doctor Number 12. Sorry, I got my numbers backed up there.
You
Where
could have
Santa-
you could have left them messed up and we wouldn't have noticed.
That's
well,
true.
that is true. But maybe one of our listeners would have been upset. He played Santa. Santa had some. Basically, they kind of hinted at that maybe Santa is also a Time Lord, like Doctor Who, and that's how he gets all the presents delivered at.
Nice.
But it was a particularly good episode. Nick Frost played Santa really well.
Cool.
That's my top three.
Was he like was it funny or was it like actually kind of serious?
I mean, Doctor Who tends to be flirt with that line of ridiculous, funny, but also like serious at the same time. So
Okay.
I'm sure I can't remember the episode super well. I just remember really enjoying it. I'm sure they had to fight some alien together.
Nice.
So my honorable mentions, also the M&M commercial.
Nice.
I put the Mall Santa from Christmas Story.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Kurt Russell from Christmas Chronicles because he played such a really good, like that beard is just so Billy Bob Thornton from Bad Santa. And then I've watched a bunch of movies this weekend. I watched a movie called Fat Man. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this. Mel Gibson plays Santa Claus.
I have heard of that one.
What?
And this little brat kid is mad because Santa gave him coal because he's this super rich kid who always gets what he wants. And he's a naughty kid, and so Santa gave him coal. So he hires Walton Goggins, who's playing a hitman who wants to kill Santa because Santa also only gave him like one toy, like because he was a naughty kid as well. He grows up to be a hitman. It is so ridiculous, and it's worth watching once just to say you've seen it, because Mel Gibson grew out this massive beard and like they play it straight up. Like Santa's like, oh, it's so crazy. It's such a bizarre movie, and everybody in the movie plays it straight, but like it's
Is this recent?
Yeah, it's just I remember seeing a trailer for it in the last year or so, and then last night I just happened to come across it, or
Awesome.
not last night, Friday night I happened to come across it on a one of the various streaming apps that had because I don't the you don't have Roku, but I know Justin you do, right?
Yes.
Okay, you know when you let Roku go to the screensaver, and
Yeah.
sometimes it will like runs little movies for various different apps. If you watch every so often, it'll be like, oh, click on this and we'll give you $6 to rent a movie on Vudu or rent. And they had one for some streaming service called Bro 8, which I had never heard of before. But they're like, here's $6. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm not paying more. And they had a bunch of $20 one, but they had Fat Man on there for like four. And I'm like, done. I wanted to see it anyway.
Nice.
Nice.
But I recommend it. It's right up our alley with its ridiculous nature. That's my honorable mention list.
I like it.
I say you named most of the ones I had. I had Jack Skellington on there, Billy Bob Thornton, and then also I put Ed Asner from Elf.
Okay.
Mhm.
I should have put him on there.
And then when I was doing some more research into actors who have played Santa in different movies, commercials, stuff like that, I came up with a list of odd choices to play Santa.
Okay.
I wanted to turn it into a game, but I didn't have time. So I'm just going to name some of the ones that I found on the list. Hulk Hogan in a movie called Santa with Muscles.
Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's a
I
young.
forgot.
It's a young looking Hulk Hogan.
I gotta find that one.
All right.
No, you don't.
Okay, another one. Okay, I'll just name them off. Andy Dick in the Hebrew Hammer.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
Paul Giamatti in Nick Claus.
Fred Claus?
Oh, maybe he plays Nick Claus. Yeah, Fred Claus.
Okay. Yeah.
Bryan Cranston from Twas the Night.
Is that
Ter-
animated?
no,
No.
I didn't put voices.
Oh, okay. What is do you know what that is?
No idea.
Okay.
Terry Crews in the Old Spice commercials.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Then Bill Goldberg.
I haven't seen that, by the way.
We will get to that
All right.
a little bit later.
I should have used him last as a segue. We'll come back to that. Jeremy, edit this out. Paul,
Good luck
Paul,
with that.
Paul Wright, which is the Big Show from Jingle All the Way. Jim Belushi from Jingle All the Way. Vern Troyer from Jingle All the Way.
I had a feeling that was coming.
Leslie Nielsen from the movie Santa Who. And then the last one I put was Will Sasso. From Finding Miss Claus.
Oh,
There was a couple animated ones like William Shatner, Phil Lamar, and John Malkovich all voiced Santa in animated movies.
Twas the Night is like some Disney movie.
oh, okay.
It kind of looks familiar, but I don't know.
I know Santa Who is a Disney movie. That's
Okay.
the Leslie Nielsen one. He like has an accident where like falls out of a sleigh and gets hit by a car. And then he doesn't know who he is. And
That's clever.
yeah.
Okay.
What about the Santa? What about the Santa from Ernest?
Oh,
That was a good Santa. I think that was the dude that voiced one of the characters in Aladdin. He voiced like the king or the emperor or whatever.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, the guy who was Santa that retired before he handed it over to the other guy at the end of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. All right. I'm not to spoil Ernest Saves Christmas for anybody.
Right. I mean,
Seen a 30-plus-year-old movie at this point.
But those were some of the weird ones. I was like, really? They made them into a Santa character?
that's weird. it just feels like if you've been around long enough, you've probably had an opportunity to be Santa. It's kind of what I'm
Yeah,
getting from this.
yeah. If you're an older guy, at some point they're gonna hit you up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Jonathan, then one of the things too was Jonathan Taylor Thomas when he was wearing a Santa suit.
Hmm.
I was like, I don't know if I count that though.
Yeah, I had a hard time with where I was going with the Santa research. As that's like I would talk about just people who dressed up like Santa, or do we just talk about Santa? So
Right. I tried to keep it as people who were Santa.
that's where the people who were on my list were on my top three. Well, that, and quite honestly, like Tim Allen so embodied the perfect like idea of who Santa is in those three movies. I mean, the return diminishing returns on the three. I mean, the first one is so good.
Yeah.
The second one is okay. The third one is, but
Is
it's
one of
like
those is one of those with Martin Short?
that's the third one.
Okay.
Yeah. That was
But
bad.
but like like I mean, at least in the first one, like he has the classic Santa look.
Mhm.
He has like his by the end of the movie when he fully embraces becoming Santa, like that's you know I mean, there's hundreds of Santa movies, and we are not going to touch on a tenth of them, but we'll get there. Um, so the classic view of Santa basically comes from an 1822 poem. "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" by Clement Clark Moore. Like Santa existed Um, somewhere between the third and fourth century with Saint Nicholas of Myra. So between 270 and 343, that's the guy who gives us the Santa myth. That's why he's also Saint Nick or Saint Nicholas, or the whole reason I had the joke of a Halloween costume. Uh, so I mean, obviously the myth of Santa existed well before "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," but the jolly fat man with the red suit and the ho 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 and the sleigh and the reindeer, like you look through the history of Santa with Sinterklaas or the Yule Lads or whatever country has their own version, they all kind of coalesce when America starts, and we pick and choose from all over, and
Yeah.
then and that's when he created the whole thing. The ultimate classic look, the look we think of Santa now, like as the classic Santa, that comes from the 1931 Coke ad,
Mm.
by a guy named Haddon Sandbloom. But yeah, that Coke basically invented what when we say Santa Claus, what we picture of Santa. I mean, they obviously took it from that that poem, but that's where it comes from.
So the iconic look comes from an advertisement.
Basically, yes.
All right.
Merry Christmas.
Good for them. Let's hope they trademarked it.
I mean, they probably did to a certain extent, but I'm sure, much like a lot of other things, like you can probably trademark that exact Santa Claus, but like everybody else, as long as they put some small derivation on it, yep, that's my Santa Claus. That's keeps them from. But I mean that image that you picture in your head, more than likely, came from that 1931 Coke ad.
That's crazy.
The first use of the name Santa Claus that anybody can find reference to is in somewhere in the United States press in 1773, and we're pretty sure at that point it was either them just intentionally misspelling Sinterklaas or just not knowing how to spell Sinterklaas, and they came up with Santa Claus.
Okay.
Hey, words are hard to spell, man.
Especially back then, no Google to check your spelling.
Yeah,
How did you do anything?
Well,
I think that's when they asked Jeeves.
Yeah, yeah.
well, that's when a lot of people got their names changed from whatever it was in old world Europe to whatever they're called now because they got here and they're like, my name is, and they're like, that is too hard to spell. We're gonna call you Smith.
Smith. We're gonna drop that last part and just cut the name down.
So, the name Kris Kringle comes from the 1947 Miracle on 34th Street.
Really? They coined that?
Yep.
Wow. I did
At
not
least
know that.
that's what the claim was. I don't know. I mean, there could be, they could have just invented it, or
Sure.
it could have been that they got it from somewhere. But
Sure.
that's what the internet claimed.
Cool.
The first movie with Santa was a movie called Santa Claus in 1898. It's a
Wow.
silent British movie. It's only 3 minutes. I found it on YouTube pretty quickly. Two little kids are at a chimney, and they're like, oh, and then a nanny or a mom comes in and makes them go to bed. So they run over and get into bed, and then it kind of split screens or shows like Santa on the showing up on the roof, coming to the chimney,
Okay.
and then coming down and like and then when he goes to get down the chimney, he like pops up down on the screen. It's for 1898. Like you're just kind of like, wow, this is some crazy technology for 1898. So he shows up and like he puts up the tree, throws a bunch of presents down, and then disappears again. And then the kids wake up and they're like, yay! Like I said, 3 minute
So
silent
so
film.
Santa's supposed to put up the tree.
There is so many different traditions, and I'm sure we'll talk about that at some point. But
Is it this G.A. Smith film?
it could be.
It's like BFI National Archive.
That probably is. Like I said, it's only about
Oh,
3 minutes,
Okay.
and it's pretty interesting. I mean, it's
Wow, yeah, look
but
at that. I see the split screen that you're talking about. Sorry.
but if you look at it and you look at 1898, you realize that like if they're doing that movie, the idea of Santa coming down the chimney, the idea of Santa wearing that type of outfit, and the tree is clearly a well-formed idea.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, that movie probably helped form it further, but that idea, I'm guessing that they're not just creating this myth out of nowhere. So,
Yeah, yeah, for sure. The way that this is shot and like the frame rate and everything, it's kind of terrifying, actually.
we'll get to terrifying in a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
bit.
okay.
Oscar nominations. Actually, Edmund Gwenn, who played Santa in Miracle on 34th Street, won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor in 1948. The only time that I found any reference to anybody in a Santa movie being nominated, and one of the only Christmas movies to ever be nominated for an Oscar and somebody winning it.
Wow.
So, the highest grossing Santa movie, not the highest grossing Christmas movie. I guess I guess this could be up for a debate. The number one highest grossing Christmas movie of all time, Christmas movie, is the 2018 Grinch, the one that Benedict Cumberbatch did. Now, clearly, he dresses up like Santa, but he's not Santa. The highest grossing just Santa movie is the Santa Claus from '94, and it came in at 189.8 mil.
Okay.
All right.
So I mean, I guess that depends on where you want to put Santa in. Like, where do you put Grinch in the world of Santa?
I'd put it as a Christmas movie, but I wouldn't put it as a Santa movie.
That's where I was sitting, which is why I separated the two. And the Santa Claus movie itself, I think was only like 8 or 9 on the list of Christmas movies. I think a lot of that has to do with 1994 money versus 2018 money. Like, 94 you could go see a movie for like $5. 2018 you're getting in for like 10 or 12.
Yeah.
You can still see
No.
one for $5. You just got to go a specific day, a specific time, a specific showing.
True.
You should have seen what the conversion rate would have been from then to now.
Yeah, I didn't. I know that you can look that up. I didn't think about it. All right. So I spent a lot more time researching the next topic of Santa because I figured this topic would be more of a um, well up our alley, more so at least Jeremy's alley.
Oh yeah.
He's over there.
Santa themed horror movies.
Yeah.
So we have Rare Exports, 2010.
Yeah.
Have either of you seen this movie?
I have. I've seen that one. Yeah.
If you can, well, I can understand why Justin hasn't seen it. It's subtitled. And we know he struggles with reading.
It's true.
Words are hard.
It's Norse, Finnish, one of those two. I thought it was really good. It really kind of played with the Santa myth, put it on its head.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's weird. I mean, but and the twist ending was pretty darn good too. But
Yeah.
so highly recommend that one. Now this one I watched yesterday, because I put it on the list and then I was like, I need to see it. Santa's Sleigh,
Okay.
2005 with Bill Goldberg.
Yeah.
Now I know you said you hadn't seen it. Justin, have you seen this movie before?
I don't think so. I definitely wanted to look it up after you had mentioned it.
It is batshit insane. It is. It's so the beginning starts with Fran Drescher, Chris Kattan, James Caan, two people I don't remember, and then somebody else whose name is escaping me, all sitting around a Christmas table, and they're all terrible people. And then Bill Goldberg in full Santa outfit, like red leather, like head to toe, gigantic beard, bigger than even Justin's beard, bigger than my beard, like just as like kicks down the chimney, comes in, and then kills everybody in the room in the weirdest ways. And like I'm not giving anything. The rest of the movie just goes from there.
Oh, okay.
It is, but that's how the movie starts, and you're just like, okay, I'm into something weird here.
In for a good time with that one.
And you could tell that they had fun making it. It basically it's like, okay, so Santa in the year like 1000 lost a bet to an angel.
Okay.
Over a game of hold on a second. It's in the Olympics. They have the stones that they put down the ice.
You got it, or do you want help?
Curling.
Curling, yes, there we go.
It's one of my favorite things to watch in the Winter Olympics.
It is awesome. I would love to learn how to do it. But anyway, so Santa loses a bet to an angel over a game of curling, and so he has to be on his best behavior and be good for 1,000 years. And then that's so like that Christmas is when the bet comes to an end. And Santa's all like, I'm tired of being good.
So that was the only reason that he had been good the whole time, was just the bet.
Because he lost the bet.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. And the movie just it never really gets above that part, but you can watch it on Peacock. Just be aware, unless you're paying for Peacock, you're gonna have a lot of ads. You can watch it for free and it's unedited, but there's a lot of ads. Oh, the unedited part is important for that movie.
Nice.
Okay, there's also Tales from the Crypt. They did that one Santa episode they have. All right, so some of the Santa horror movies are more guys dressed up like Santa,
Right.
and a lot less um like rare exports in Santa Sleigh actual Santa. The rest of them are pretty much guys dressed up like Santa.
Yeah. Okay.
Not a lot of people seem to be willing to take Santa and turn him into the bad guy. In fact, it quite possibly Santa Sleigh was the first time that they were like, let's make actual Santa the bad guy. But Tales from the Crypt did a movie in '72 where they kind of had like 4 or 5 mini episodes, kind of like Creep Show. And then later on in the '80s, when they did their own series, they redid it, basically the same story, just kind of, crazy man on the loose dressed up like Santa killing people. Silent Night, Deadly Night. They did 2 of those movies. Guy dressed up like Santa going around killing people.
Yeah.
Then they did a kind of a remake. They called it just Silent Night in 2012.
Ah. Okay.
Christmas Evil in 1980.
Was
To all,
another guy in a suit, right? Wasn't it?
yeah. To All a Good Night in 1980 as well. Now, this one kept changing names depending on which article I was reading. There's a movie called Game Over or Deadly Games.
Okay.
I don't know what it's actually called because, like, when I'm looking at Wikipedia, it was one thing. When I'm looking at IMDb, it was another. But it was the same movie. That was '89, and then Krampus in 2015. I guess it's kind of Santa. Krampus is. I didn't go in detailed into like Schwarzpeter or Krampus because I figured that could be like next year's topic. So I don't really know where Krampus, because Krampus is either like the anti Santa Claus or like Santa Claus helper.
Right.
They're depending on the version of the story.
What about that one movie that my sister commented?
I was gonna ask you about that.
Yeah.
What is that one? I've never. Have you seen this one?
A long time ago, we had the VHS of it, and I just remember images flashing by as a child being like deeply disturbed at what I was watching.
It wasn't a horror movie, right?
It wasn't. No, it was supposed to be like, I think they were trying to make it like a family thing, but it was very terrifying. It was like Santa versus the devil.
Oh, gee. Yeah, I had never heard of that one. And I kept forgetting to go back and add it to my list, or at least researching it, because I was trying to get people to comment, and she's the only one that did.
Yeah. I it's very strange because I don't think they were going for horror, but it definitely, that's the result that they got. It's just called Santa Claus.
Right. There's a whole bunch of movies just called Santa Claus.
Yeah.
There's one in the mid to late '80s called Santa Claus the Movie. It's got John Lithgow as like the bad guy and Dudley Moore as like the head elf.
Yeah.
It is like one of my dad's all-time favorite movie, and he would make us watch it with him every year after it came out. And my mom and I were talking about it this week, and both of us were like, "It's not a bad movie. It's just not. It's not all that good." But
right.
Hey, my dad loves it, so whatever.
Yeah.
That's why they make 100 different movies, because everybody's got different tastes. So
right. This one was just Santa Claus, or also sometimes called Santa Claus versus the Devil, 1959 Mexican family film, which was later re-released in the US with a dub in the 60s. And they also did an episode of MST3K on it.
Okay.
So
I might have actually seen it then. I just because there's so many movies that I've only seen because of MST3K.
Yeah, same. That'd be a good episode too.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a themed episode on them at some point.
Yeah.
Because now that we're not doing a themed episode every week, like I like sitting down and doing all this research and writing all this stuff. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh yeah, I've got a whole nother page of notes. I thought I was done.
Oh, all
Yeah,
right.
it's
Speaking
fun
of notes,
sitting down doing the notes and stuff for like every once in a while.
Right. Like if I had to go back to doing it the old way, I'd probably go back. This podcast would probably end just like it did back then. Yeah.
We'd go
Like,
back to me and Jeremy not contributing because we're like, we're not doing this every week.
true.
so maybe if we did it like once a month, once every other month, that would be, try to theme it with whatever holiday is happening.
I like that.
All right. Anyway, now that we've talked about inside baseball right on the podcast, that either
Yes.
Jeremy has to go back and edit, or he'll just leave it in.
Yeah.
Or I could say something like, "What do you guys think? Let us know," and then he has to leave it in.
Or does he?
Well, I guess we'll find out, won't we?
Stay tuned.
Future Jeremy, what do you think?
All right, Santa science fiction. I could not find a lot of that. I mean, probably because technically, all right, kids leave the room. I'll wait. 1, 2, 3, 4.
By
5.
Justin.
Santa's not real.
Oh,
No, you just had
So
to
it's
go there,
kind-
didn't you?
It's
I
kind of
came back at the wrong point.
It's kind of science fiction already to start with.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't take away from the enjoyment of Santa, and maybe we'll have a brief discussion at the end on that. But Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, 1964, and then a movie called Feeders 2 Sleigh Bells, but sleigh is an SLAY. So, apparently it was made on like $100,000. Like it's a low budget. So I didn't bother trying to find it. Also has nothing to do with the first one because I did have to research if Feeders 1. No, Feeders 1 was made with, yeah. Anyway,
All right. Much like the classic Troll 2.
yeah. But so like basically like I tried like there wasn't a lot of Santa sci-fi like straight like other than Santa Claus Conquers the Martians.
Fair enough.
So any Santa horror movies you guys know about that I missed or
Not really. I mean, I can think of other Christmas ones, just not like Santa related. I mean, you've got like Jack Frost and
right?
Black Christmas,
Yeah.
but there's no
And
Santa really involved in those.
I mean, just sideways derivation here.
Yeah.
Jack Frost makes for a lot of fun because they put out 2 Jack Frost movies that year.
Yeah.
One with Michael Keaton that's a heartfelt like, family like, comes together movie.
Yeah.
And then Jack Frost where he's a snowman that kills a naked Shannon Elizabeth.
Yeah. Yep.
I assume there was a lot of people accidentally buying the wrong one.
I'm sure a lot of childhoods were ruined.
That's a genius idea, though. You're like, oh, let's just name it the same thing, just make it different. People won't know.
Yeah, because you can't technically copyright a title.
How many accidental sales did that movie get that year?
Well, I mean, in true pop culture roulette fashion, we did do a whole episode on mockbusters back in the day that we'll never release, but we did talk about like.
Never say never.
Okay, that's true. Yeah, you did do that, didn't you?
MPS might get desperate one week.
But there was Transmorphers at the same time as Transformers.
Yeah.
Snakes on a train at the same time as snakes on a plane, that kind of stuff. Anyway, because I do the research, we now get to talk about Santa Claus in comics.
All right.
In the Marvel and DC universe.
Isn't he like basically like a god in the Marvel universe?
Yes, basically. He has defeated a lot of people. Okay, we'll get to that. First, we'll start with the craziest Santa appearance in Marvel Comics that I could find was So it's the Marvel Holiday Spectacular, where the reindeer end up being Skrulls, the shape-shifting aliens. Santa has to go to the Illuminati, which is Black Panther, Doctor Strange, uh, Iron Man, that group, and begs them for the Infinity Gauntlet so that he can deliver all the presents in time. The power goes to his head, and he goes nuts. The Illuminati then have to defeat Santa. So Santa now goes back to normal, and then Iron Man hooks him up with a bunch of robotic reindeer so he can still get all the presents out on time.
Interesting.
Okay. So he's teamed up with She-Hulk to catch a serial killer because
Okay.
She-Hulk is a lawyer and he was pretending to be a private detective for some reason. Um, Howard the Duck has helped Santa Claus save the world twice. In the X-Men, Cerebro, the unit that helps Professor X find all the mutants, deemed Santa Claus to be the most powerful mutant, even over Magneto and Professor X himself. So they both went to try to recruit him, and he wiped the minds of all of the X-Men and turned all of the Brotherhood of Mutants into toys, and then sent them all back away because he wanted to keep just doing what he does.
I feel like these are the movies they need to be making.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, even if it's just an animated movie.
Yes. Okay, you're gonna love this next one. Deadpool. Tell me, hired to kill Santa by a group of kids who were mad that So hey, hold on. I think I know where maybe Fat Man got its idea. But he couldn't do it, so he ends up helping Santa kill the elf that betrayed him.
Nice.
Captain Marvel, he helps her or she helps him save the world doing something. And then this one almost was the craziest one. So Doctor Doom has to save Christmas because he accidentally injured Santa. So he had to put on the Santa outfit and deliver all the toys and be Santa for the year.
Dr. Doom?
How is that not an honorable mention on your list?
Why would he care?
I don't know because I mean Doctor Doom is a bad guy, so I don't know why he accidentally enters Santa and goes, "Oh well, I gotta help. I gotta."
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. I'm gonna take over.
Oh, that's too far.
Even bad guys have their limits.
And then Captain America made references, but he never really told the story of helping save Santa after Hitler kidnapped Santa.
Awesome.
Him, Nick Fury, and some of the other Howling Commandos like saved Santa from Hitler.
It's fun. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, so DC, because I have to be fair, and I give. Well, it's not going to be equal time. The craziest DC special is Lobo's Paramilitary Christmas Special. The Easter Bunny is mad at Santa and he's jealous, so he takes a hit out on Santa. Lobo takes it and he actually kills Santa.
Of course, Lobo does.
So it seems like, at least in DC, every story that I was reading about, most of the stories are somebody dressing up like Santa and helping or hurting the story. Like the Justice League had to defeat Santa, and they find out at the end it was really Martian Manhunter who'd gone crazy and dressed up like Santa or something like that. Except for he's very much real. Like when he does occur, like when he's not being dressed up like he's really Santa, he's so powerful that he can get past all of Darkseid's guards and stuff, and personally delivers coal to Darkseid every year.
Nice.
So like I don't have as much about Marvel's DC or DC's Santa as I do Marvel's, because DC like acknowledges he exists and says, "Hey, Santa's cool and he's teamed up with Superman," but half the time it ends up just being somebody who dressed up like Santa. So there wasn't near the amount of fun with DC that Marvel's had with it. But I would love to see them do like a what if Santa edition,
Hell yeah.
or
Yeah.
just do like the Marvel Christmas special where like they just do like an hour or an hour and a half movie of just like the quick little like 15-minute tale or 30-minute tale.
Heck
You know,
yeah.
Santa teaming up with the She-Hulk to like take down a serial killer.
Hell yeah. I would watch the shit out of that.
Yeah, this would be excellent.
So that's all the stuff I have for Santa. Did I miss anything? Anything that you guys any Santa knowledge that you guys want to drop down?
Man, I got nothing. I think that was pretty extensive there. I really learned a lot about Santa this evening.
Yeah, I didn't write down too much either. I just looked up some of the people who played them. I didn't do too thorough research this time.
Well, that's okay. That's this is the stuff that I really enjoy doing. Like, get breaking down into, I could have done, I mean, I did do a lot of reading on like the history of Santa and where like some of the myth comes from, but some of that stuff started getting real boring,
Sure.
real like, oh well, in this year he went from green to red, and this is blah 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 blah.
Right.
Tell me more about him turning all of the Brotherhood of Mutants into boys.
Yeah, let's get back to that.
Let's get back to
that. What about, have you guys ever had any weird experiences like with mall Santas or photo op Santas?
Not really.
I don't think I
I
have
don't.
either.
I don't remember doing any of that kind of stuff.
I don't really remember it either. I mean, I know that I did. I mean, I remember being taken to the mall to sit on Santa's lap and take the pictures. My sister puts up a great picture of my two nieces who were like, "Yeah, we're gonna see Santa. He's awesome." And then the second they put them both in the lap, just like Ralphie.
Nice.
So I'm sure those pictures exist of me and my sister as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think pretty much every kid has those pictures.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I mean, I do have the whole like. I mean, obviously we've told the story before. The whole me dressing up like Santa for Halloween
Yeah.
For multiple years.
for multiple years. My mom's having a hard time finding that picture. By the way, she knows she has it, but
Oh,
um,
we need that picture.
I think I'd like to see you reprise that role for a future project, perhaps.
for a future project, I think I can. I won't have to. Well, hopefully, I will have to by the time we do it. I was going to say, hopefully, I don't have to stuff the costume as much as I did back then, but I'm still going.
Yeah.
But I mean, I enjoy. Okay, let's briefly talk about. Do you think that it's a bad thing for parents to tell kids about Santa? Because there is a movement of people who believe that letting your children believe that Santa is real is a bad thing for children.
No, I think
No,
it's fine. Like, yeah, like come on. Who, like, if your childhood didn't have that in it, things would be so much different. Like, I catch there's so many great memories attached to like the Santa thing.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, I think most kids have like a great story about when they discovered,
Yeah.
you know. There's this movement of like, oh, you can't let kids, because then basically like you're teaching your kids right up front that, parents lie. And it's like, is it a lie? Like,
It's just a tactic.
Yeah, I'd say the world's got enough crap going on where they need something to believe in and look forward to.
And I mean,
Like all your hopes and dreams are dead.
and if you're an adult and you are like angry at your parents for telling you that Santa was real, and when you find out the truth, and you hold it against them, and like you're that much like you have your own kids, you've got well, first off, you had a really good childhood that's the only thing they did to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's your big trauma.
That
That's your
top that tops the list of the worst things your parents did.
Yeah. And two, like if that's your big hang up, like man, you got other issues as well.
Uh,
I
well,
can't
like,
trust it. I can't trust adults because they lied. Oh well, trust me, kid. they they lied about a lot of the things too.
for sure. I mean, like with this movement, are these people like, are they all for taking away other things too? Like, if you take away Santa, you got to take away everything, like the Tooth Fairy, the Easter Bunny, all that shit, because it's all
They,
lies.
they probably are, but I mean, I haven't seen well in the last 2 years. There hasn't really been the ability to do it, but I know every so often you'll hear about some jackass who decides that he has to take it upon himself to go to the mall and like with a protest sign and start screaming,
Oh
Santa's
yeah,
not real, go and parents having to tackle him to be like, shut up, man.
yeah. Fuck you.
Like, what is wrong with you? Like, let the kids have fun because it's at the end of the day, it doesn't really hurt them.
No,
They have great memories, they still get the presents, and they just and it's fun. But yeah,
right, exactly.
if you're that damaged that you have to go to the mall and try to like tell all the kids
Yeah, there's something
there's
wrong.
something wrong with you.
Yeah, I
But
remember when I first discovered that it
how did
was.
you how did you discover?
Well, my parents used to put out this sign that said Santa was here, and they forgot to hide it properly one year, and it was just sitting in the closet, like over the top of all this other stuff. And I went in there, I'm like, what? Why would he leave his sign in here? And that's how I discovered that it was all sham. And I still hold it against them to this day.
Yeah.
Huh, okay.
I seek therapy for it once a week.
Justin, how about you?
I believe my older sister just told me. I think me and my one sister were just kind of waiting by like the top of the stairs to see if we could see something. And she's just like, just go to bed. It's mom and dad.
Oh,
And then it was like, oh, okay.
that's awful. Just so
Yeah,
bad.
I'm pretty sure that was last year.
My parents tell me they don't know if I actually ever truly believed in Santa because I was one of those kids that always like, well, how does he get here? Well, how does he get here? And so, but like I remember like one year like being sent to bed and then sneaking back out and like sleeping on the couch and being woken up and going, I knew it. But my mom and dad went as far as to buy different wrapping paper
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
only use the different wrapping paper for the Santa gifts.
Same. Yep.
Um,
I do that currently.
nice.
Ah,
So
Oh,
it's hidden
she
away.
can't. She
No,
can't.
I was.
Okay,
I was
all
like,
right.
I just can't hear anything through the headphones.
it's
But
all
Yeah.
a sham.
I keep them. I keep that hidden in a different
Jeremy, you can be over
location.
there in less than 5 minutes. Start knocking on windows. It's all a lie.
Yeah.
I will tackle you.
I got my sign ready.
Yeah, but no, I just my parents said that I was too analytical and too like but I was willing to play along. So
Was there like any part of you that was like, if I don't go along with this, like maybe I won't get those extra gifts? So I might as well just keep.
probably
Yeah.
yeah. And I believe there was also some threats of, don't you dare tell your sister.
Right.
Don't you dare say anything to your friends or
Yeah. Don't ruin this.
don't ruin what we've got going on. oh God.
It's a good system. I actually did think about it from time to time. Like I'd be like sitting in bed. I'm like, I wonder if he saw that one thing that I did.
Always watching. Oh well.
What a creep.
Yeah. Weirdo.
Uh,
At least by that age,
Look away, Santa. It's gonna get weird.
at least by that age, you've probably stopped believing in Santa.
Yeah, true.
All right. Well, then I guess, um, I guess that's it for Santa. I mean, we'll either pretend like we didn't do a Santa episode and do it all again next year, or
There's other areas of Christmas I'm sure we could dive into.
oh, I'm sure
Yeah.
maybe next year we'll try to learn about the history of Krampus.
Oh,
I like that.
maybe.
Of course, we also say that, and unless one of us writes it down, we won't remember.
It's up
Yeah.
here.
Let's just hope that there's even still a podcast by that point.
Hey,
Just kidding.
I've-
We'll be fine.
I have faith this
Will
time.
we?
Yeah.
This
All
time.
right. Well then, let's say if you're an idiot who feels like you have to have a sign and you run into the mall to tell kids that, you know, what you think is the truth, or if you are a crazed masked serial killer running around dressed up like Santa because you saw your mom having sex with some guy, the plot of Silent Night, Deadly Night, or if you just, you know, are a jerk kid who's taken out a hit on Santa himself, just remember, stupid never walks alone.